Hello, my chudlings. I know I may have said in my last video that I'd get to instantly making one about Aventurine after Robin, but I was unexpectedly more tired than expected, and I kind of just slumped. Right. However, I have seen something today that makes me a little concerned about his kit, which is the fact that Twitter is overhyping him, which almost always means that this guy is going to be mid. However, I'm going to reserve my opinion for right now with the current first impressions. Right? So let's get into it. As always, nobody gives a shit about the basic attack. Skill. Deals quantum damage equal to 240% multiplier to all enemies and gains 2 punchline and 4 points of fervor. Of course, we don't know what this is yet. That's likely going to be in one of the upcoming descriptions. Next, we go to the ultimate. Deals quantum damage equal to a 400% multiplier to all enemies, gains 5 punchline and 8 fervor, and it increases this unit's speed by 25% for 3 turns. Remember, Avin is a speed scaler, right? Talent. The duration of Aventurine's certified banger will increase by 1 turn. After a teammate uses an attack, Aventurine will gain 1 point of fervor and 1 punchline. The max limit for fervor is 30. When fervor reaches 10 points, Aventurine will use Cheers to the Blazing Summer 1 time. This is an attack, which takes a fixed 20 punchline into account. After this use, the Elation skill used by this unit in the next AHA instant will be enhanced into All In to the Blazing Summer. While Aventurine has certified banger, his skill will additionally deal 40% quantum elation damage to all enemies, and his ultimate will additionally deal 72% quantum elation damage to all enemies. Moving on to the technique, moves forward rapidly for a set distance, attacking all enemies in contact and blocking all incoming attacks. After entering combat via attacking enemies, Aventurine deals quantum damage equal to a 100% attack multiplier, and gains 2 points of fervor and 20 points of certified banger. Next, we move on to the Elation skill. This is where you get to see a little more of the bounce damage that you'd expect, and I personally expected for quite a while now. With M-Blade being an AoE damage dealer and Ashvale being pure single target, my guess was always that the final piece for this team would likely have bounce damage, which does seem to be the case here. Deals 60% quantum elation damage to all enemies, and additionally deals 10 instances of damage, with each dealing 15% quantum elation damage to 1 random enemy. Now, this multiplier isn't all that high. That's a 150% bounce multiplier with a base 60% across enemies. However, it's not the worst thing in the world, considering I believe he has a much higher attack frequency in comparison to some other characters, which might be able to make up for that, right? And then you have the enhanced version of this, which we've talked about a little earlier with the All In to the Blazing Summer. It's the exact same thing. However, there's a small addition where it says it will consume all the fervor he's stacked up upon use. For every 1 point of fervor, additionally deal 1 instance of 15% bounce damage. So if you have, I believe, a max of 30 fervor, then you get like 450% more bounce damage multiplier, which I assume is where the good stuff is, right? That's kind of what you want to build up towards. And next, we move on to the traces. He has the normal speed to elation conversion trace that Silverwolf has. When speed is 160 or higher, increase this unit's elation by 30%, and for every 1 speed exceeded, additionally increase his elation by 1%, up to a max of 200 excess speed, right? The next trace, at the start of battle, if there are other Elation characters in the team besides Aventurine, Aventurine will increase his elation by 100%. However, if at the start of battle, Aventurine is the only Elation character in the team, after a teammate uses an attack, Aventurine will gain 2 points of Certified Banger and 1 Punchline, and increase Aha's speed by 25. The speed boost effect lasts until the end of Aha instant. So he has one mode for his Elation teams, and he has another mode for the Fua teams. And moving on to the last trace, increases crit damage by 48%. After a teammate uses a basic, skill, or follow-up or ultimate, Aventurine's crit damage increases by 48% further, lasting for 3 turns, and he additionally gains 1 point of fervor. This effect can be triggered up to 6 times, and the trigger count resets when Aven takes a turn and ends up using his skill. Then you have the normal stat boosts that are in everybody's kit, with his being 13% defense, 9 speed, and 19% crit rate. And then the Eidolons, right? Increase ult type res pen by 24%. Every time Aventurine gains 10 points of fervor, he can trigger his talent to use Cheers to the Blazing Summer. So this E1 just makes him be able to spam his enhanced Elation skill significantly more, alongside 24% res pen. Then his E2 increases the max limit of fervor to 50 points from 30, and additionally grants 2 points of fervor after using skill, ultimate, or elation skill, which means you can now get an even fatter bounce damage buff on that elation skill. I believe now the multiplier at max stacks would be around 750% bounce damage multiplier, right? So the E2 just makes that elation skill significantly stronger, and it makes it easier to build up towards capping out those fervor stacks. And then the E1 makes it so that he more consistently is able to activate this enhanced skill that actually takes advantage of this E2 alongside 24% defense shred. His E4 is just 18% defense ignore for himself, nothing crazy. And then his E6, his damage Mary makes by 25%. This is an unsaturated elation buff, meaning it is quite strong. After Aven uses his ultimate 2 times, all subsequent elation skills used become all into Blazing Summer, and when using the elation skill all into the Blazing Summer, additionally deals damage outside of Aha instant. It no longer consumes fervor, right? So this E6 just makes it so that it's much easier to spam once again this same enhanced elation skill, I'm pretty sure. And it also makes it do damage outside of Aha instant, and it no longer consumes fervor. I mean, that's kind of strong for an E6. I don't know. I don't fully understand it though. Admittedly, I don't fully understand how this would work in practice, because it's my first time reading it and I'm not actually looking at gameplay. And last but not least, let's just get into his light cone. Increases the wearer's crit rate by 18% when the wearer uses an elation skill, gains hype, which increases his speed by 20%. If the elation skill used is different from the last one, additionally gain trend, which increases his elation by 36%. At the start of every wave, or after the wearer uses their elation skill 3 times, recover 1 skill point. Right. So that's that. That's his entire kit. This guy is much more simpler in comparison to Robin, so this video is not going to be 18 minutes long like that last one, because that was a lot to take in personally. He's very simple. He doesn't have really all that crazy of mechanics. He has synergy with a Fua team. He has synergy with an Elation team. I don't know if this is enough to solidify his spot in the Fua team though, because his E1 and E2 are completely focused on just himself, selfishly. And the thing with the Fua team is, like, one of the things that makes the Fua team so strong currently is you can go one of 2 routes. Because of their incredibly strong team buffs, you can either run a hyper carry DPS, which in this case Aven would obviously work here, but you can also run another team buffer who has semi-decent personal damage as well, right? And then you also have the thing of like Gilgamesh is being given for free. So technically, Aventurine's competitor in FUA teams is E1 Gilgamesh and like E0 E1 Tribi, and even upcoming Robin, because believe it or not, even Robin has synergy with this FUA team. Although it's not perfect, it's not great admittedly, I bet it would probably work. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. So that's kind of the issue with Avin in this team. I feel like he can get replaced if his damage isn't high enough by other team buffers who may not specialize in personal damage, but because they're buffing more and more and more everybody on the team, the sustain does damage, Emblade does more damage, Ashvale does more damage. It's possible that Avin isn't really like this stay in character for the FUA team, right? Like you absolutely need him or anything like that. It feels like Ashvale and Emblade are much more the core of the FUA team, and this guy just has the ability to kind of take advantage of it. But all of this I could be wrong on, because of course there aren't enough gameplays out yet, and maybe with more optimized gameplay, more optimized rotations, people will find out that Avin is much stronger for the FUA team than what I'm currently predicting off of reading this kit. But I just don't think this is like the craziest thing in the world. Like his bounce damage multipliers and his like attack spam, I imagine it's pretty decently high, but does it even beat E1 Gilga? Like I'm actually curious, because Gilgamesh's ult multiplier is absolutely through the roof, and Gilga's synergy with Wowo I'm pretty sure is higher than Avin's. So because of that, Gilga can get like 2 ultimates off in the first cycle of a 0 cycle, or more accurate to say about 150 AV, and 2 ults from Gilgamesh has a fat multiplier that could probably compete with a lot of this. However, not only that, E1 Gilgamesh isn't like a selfish buff. E1 Gilgamesh gives his defense shred to everybody on the team, allowing everybody to perfectly cap out at 100% in an Ashvale Emblade team, which massively upscales their damage output. So I'm curious, like, does this beat E1 Tribi? Does this beat E1 Gilgamesh? Does this beat Robin? I don't know. I'm not really seeing anything here that completely solidifies his place in the FUA team, in my opinion. But once again, I could be tripping. So yeah, that's about it. That's Aventurine's kit. Very simple, much more simple to understand. He has fervor stacks. He wants to cap out his fervor stacks to increase the bounce damage on an Elation skill. If you use him in a FUA team, frequent attacks will give him punchline and certified banger. If you use him in an Elation team, having Elation characters will obviously be more beneficial, and he'll increase his own Elation more. Very, very simple to understand kit. There's nothing difficult here. Love you all. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great night. Peace out.